So in this video, we are going to be talking about how to determine a successful niche if you're going to succeed within the niche. So let me close off this tab. So yeah, let's get started. I prepared this little presentation for you guys. So now what is performing within your niche or category? Now that you have 5 things written down that you're knowledgeable about or passionate about, and I hope you do, going back to the little questionnaire I gave you about your own preferences, like what you genuinely like doing and so on. And you now have a bunch of potential niches or video ideas, which I hope you do have from the previous lesson of the incognito research method. It is time to start your actual research. So don't worry if you really by now still don't know your actual niche. It's a very gradual process, and it can be shifted the trajectory at any moment. So, but what I would suggest is that you first look at the niches that contain aspects of things you're knowledgeable or passionate about. I know you heard this before. You will hear this again because it's just really that important. With these niches, you want to start. So I knew I wanted to create video content around the topic of AI. However, I didn't know that right away. The first thing I did was to go to YouTube and conduct research to see what kind of videos were trending. And I discovered the niche of YouTube education. I mentioned it in the video where I talked about the whole list of the niches, right? So I saw this 17-year-old kid just popping up with this video. It was just, he had no subs, but he got like 300K views at a time in like a week, which was crazy for this niche, right? So I saw his video exploding. And then later on, I discovered the AI niche and attempted to combine the two niches, which led me to this video, my first video, right? So I took his idea, how to edit viral videos, and then I created how to make viral videos using free AI tools. So I repurposed his idea. Right away, the reason I initially even considered this YouTube education niche, because at the time I was not a YouTuber, obviously, but I had backgrounds creating and editing TikTok videos. So I knew a little bit about editing, and I had experience growing Instagram theme pages. So I kind of genuinely understood how social media works. So it just made complete sense to me. And to me, it wasn't like a matter of, oh, you know, if I'm gonna grow on YouTube, is it even possible? To me, it was like a fact. Yes, it's actually possible. Just the work has to go in, and I know it. In fact, and I am my own enemy, so I just have to get it done, type thing. So it just made complete sense to me, and it was probably the niche I was, very knowledgeable about, even though I wasn't. Out of all the niches I could have selected, is what I'm saying. So it's really crucial to select a niche that you like and see yourself doing. Now, let's get back to this. So I'll try to break down the process even more. So I started to research. I began by making a list of the kind of videos I could find. Ultimately, I wanted to focus on AI due to my personal interest and the desire to embrace myself in the niche and naturally learn more about it. Yeah, pretty obvious. I discovered that there were 4 main types of videos that channels were posting about AI: AI news, AI tools tutorials, funny AI generated videos like those AI Harry Potter or Balenciaga style videos, or I'm sure you've seen the Donald Trump playing Minecraft, or like I have to type it in. It's gonna make complete sense. So I'm sure you guys have all seen these videos. They kind of just blew up, went viral. So yeah, and that was kind of the market for AI 9 months ago when I was starting out. Now, of course, it's changed significantly. And the final one was make money with AI. Particularly, number 4 came as a real surprise. I noticed that there were many channels, relatively small, focusing on making money online, side hustles, finance, and other typical guru-related topics. And surprisingly, these channels did exceptionally well when they created videos about AI side hustles, AI business ideas, or AI YouTube automation. And the funny thing is that it was almost exactly what I was trying to do with my research. How can we make more money by implementing AI into business? Essentially, the again, about a year ago, ChatGPT was really hyping. It was the trend. So I was really just watching videos on it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And so the next step for you is to make a list of all the kinds of videos or video formats that channels are making within your niche of interest, right? So now you have topics of interest, you have video ideas. Hopefully now you should make really particular video ideas. So for example, how to, or my story, how I became rich, my story type videos, or top 10 lists, top 10 AI tools, top 10 cars, whatever it is. Another great thing is I spent 24 hours, again, it could be entertaining, it could be serious. And you really don't have to spend 24 hours doing something. Again, we can even go from Mr. Beast example. It's a format he uses all the time. In fact, he would spend 24 hours on some island or 50 hours on the ground, whatever. Or I'm sure there's some kind of a video, like I spent 24 hours building a business. You getting my point? Same thing with I spent 7 days. It's a good format of a video. So really evaluate what kind of video formats your niche has. Or, I spent X amount of money to do something. So I don't know, I spent $1 million to buy an island. Uh, or, I spent $500 on this AI tool, whatever. And I did something in X amount of hours. So an example, like again, Mr. Beast counting to 100,000 to in like whatever 50 hours, or him counting up to a number for 10 hours, whatever that is. This is just a list I made of random ideas. And for this, I would suggest you to go into incognito mode and start searching on YouTube around keywords that are being used in your niche, right? So again, search the how to uh, wording that's applicable to your niche. How to cook something, how to hit the gym the best way. Just see what pops up. Yeah, so for now, just understand what works, what you need to look for. Do not continue this lesson until you have the list of formats. Remember, and yeah, the point I wanted to bring here, remember how in this lesson, when I had this full list of the channel examples, remember how in the lesson with niche examples, I broke down at least 20, 40 channels, and I was just confident. I knew who they are. I knew what they sell. I knew what they sell. That that was written twice. I knew what they were up to because they are my competition and I study my competition. In fact, one of the very first things I did when I created my AI channel, I created the first video, and then I was like, I literally did everything I just wrote here. I was like, I need some knowledge. I need to understand what's happening. I need to understand the market. So I literally sat there for a whole day to prove my point that I'm not lying. Look now to the left side of the screen. Look at all these people I'm subscribed to. Over 100 channels. All of them are somehow my competition. So either they are AI channels or they're like content creation channels. Of course, some are entertaining, but for the most part, they are AI related. So, I did put in the hours to really find all of these people to, understand what I'm getting into, and you really should do the same. If you're getting into AI niche, obviously feel free to look at some of the channels you see on the left side, but some of them are dead. Most of them are relevant as per a year ago. Half of them, as of now, are dead, I'm sure. So don't really exactly model this list. But yeah, what do you need to? Yeah. So now we're moving on. Let's say at this point you really understand your competition, kind of. So at this point you really have looked at some channels by doing the incognito method, by searching the keywords. So now here's where the next rule comes into the picture is the what do you need to look for when doing research. So there is this rule, of course it's kind of approximate, but it's this ratio. So 100,000 views to 50, between 50 to 100k subscribers to 1 year old rule. So yeah, again, let's just break it down what that means. So now that you have your list of the types of videos that are being posted, there are a few things you need to focus on. So you invested your money in information via this school, AI Guy Academy. You will end up spending more money on gear and AI tools if you really want to succeed and proceed with YouTube. Well, so I'm going to assume that you want to make money with YouTube if you're investing that much. Therefore, it is extremely important that you assess if there is enough potential to get enough views so you can make money, right? But I understand, define enough. What is enough? So let's break it down. Well, this is not as black and white as I'm going to tell you, but a good rule of thumb is to look for topics or niches that regularly have videos with over 100,000 views by channels with less than 50K to 100K subscribers. So if, let's say, a channel with 1 million subscribers is doing 100K views, not applicable for this example. So this kind of a ratio is really crucial. So if you find a niche or topic that regularly gets views with over 100K views, you want to make sure that there are channels in that niche that are small and new that also achieve these numbers. So, and with small and new, I mean less than 50,000 to 100,000 subscribers and less than a year old. This indicates that there is still the potential for new creators to go viral with their videos, because there are still new and small creators in that niche that are doing very well. I think it's self-explanatory. So let me show you a few examples of channels that met these criteria in the AI niche. As of now, they have grown exponentially as well, just like myself, because we all have caught that right timing about a year ago of just to jump into this AI trend. Now this niche is really as saturated as like the general how to make money online, for example. So there's of course still definitely a lot of opportunity in this niche, but not as easy as it was a year ago. So, but anyway, let's just look. Those two particular videos really represent the era that was happening a year ago. The how I made my faceless YouTube channel only using AI. This channel has 1 million views with 30K subscribers, and she's got 120K subscribers and 1.5 million views. But at the time, I remember when I saw her video like a year ago, actually, roughly, or like 11 months ago, I think she only had like 30K subs at maximum. So they have grown exponentially. And the reason actually this channel isn't even growing anymore, because I think that's the only video he posted, or they really just didn't post anymore, which is strange. They had an amazing video take off. So the next thing you need to do is look for these videos, right, that are applicable to your niche. This kind of a ratio. Again, 11 months ago, 1 million views, 30K subscribers is perfect. I mean, ideally, the video should have been like 6 months ago, right? That would be even better. So again, you can go to incognito mode on your browser and search for keywords that match your niche. For my channel, for instance, a good keyword is faceless YouTube with AI or AI side hustle. Then you want to set filters to view count and this month. This is how you do it. So those two, I can actually, I guess, show it right here. So let's say you want to search something, whatever that is. So then we navigate to the filters on the right, and we click on view count, and then we click on this month. And so, well, actually, let's just search up AI. And so, yeah, now we have to do it again. And now we're seeing videos that are posted with the AI tag within the last 30 days. And for the most part, it's just showing shorts. So we have to be more precise with our search. But I think you get the point. So yeah, this way YouTube will show you the highest viewed videos related to that topic in the last 30 days. Okay, I guess, yeah, that's why I'm only seeing shorts. They have millions, right? Yeah, they have millions of views. I forgot the part that it's the highest viewed videos. So anyway, because it is important that you look for recent videos, you want to see if you can compete right now and if the niche is still performing. You simply scan through these videos to see if there are videos that meet the hour ratio, right? So again, the goal is to make a list, however, this time, of the channels that make these videos within your niche. Analyze your competition. In fact, this is the very first thing I did when I was starting out, like I already mentioned. So yeah, the next thing I'm going to discuss is the 20% rule. It is not some kind of a science. This is not mathematics. It's kind of something I came up with, from my own experience, basically. So yeah, the second thing we're going to focus on is what I call the 20% triangle. That's the triangle we're going to be talking about right here. And so, yeah, this triangle is an assessment tool to see if and how you can compete with it, with your competition. Because that's what it is if you are going to start making videos on YouTube, right? You're going to have to compete with other creators for the attention of viewers. Just like anything, any other business, it's a market where you have to compete, you have to find advantage, you have to leverage something, and that's how you succeed. YouTube is no different. YouTube algorithm is a market, essentially. Think of it this way, at least. it'll be more beneficial. So the 20% triangle helps you assess if you can outperform the competition. Because if you cannot outperform other creators within your niche, you're not very likely to succeed. And there are a few ways of doing this. So the 20% rule means that you need to be capable of making your content 20% better, and this can be achieved in three ways: the information provided, value, the quality of the video, editing, or the entertainment factor, joy. So ideally, you should choose two of these three aspects that can make you 20% better than the competition. If you can accomplish that, you will certainly succeed. If you can excel in all three areas, you truly have a winning formula. So now I can just off top of my head give you very like rough examples. So an example I thought of actually as I was writing all of this would be the crypto niche. Like, let's say if from the previous modules you really liked the idea and the whole model of crypto, what's happening in crypto, I mean, by default, it's a very value oriented niche, right? So, and really what most of the crypto YouTubers do, and they just turn on their screen recording thing. They just show the charts. They're like blah blah blah, and that's it. And so you could leverage the joy, the entertainment, and the editing factor. So you could be like, go Mr. Beast mode. You'd be like, yeah, in this video we're gonna go into Bitcoin, but still providing value. Right? So be leverage this thing, this factor. So yeah, go towards the joy and editing factor, but still doing the value. Or on the other hand, if you're going into a niche which is overly saturated with just useless editing and joy, like that's I know a perfect example. I just forgot his name. Let me quickly find him. So this guy right here. So what he did is he went into a niche which he was exercising himself, right? He was doing all of these over edited videos that had no business to be over edited anyways, and then he just leaned towards the value side by just creating these simplistic videos with the whiteboard, and that what allowed him to take his channel forward. So he leveraged the value side, right? So it's kind of a balancing these things. Ideally they should be all in a perfect balance, but sometimes you have to lean towards one side more or less. I hope I don't sound insane right now, but it's at least gonna make sense to you after you make 20, 30 videos, right? Actually, you might want to come back to this lesson again after some videos, because right now it just might sound crazy. But yeah, the thing to remember that it doesn't need to happen right away. However, you want to see the potential. What I mean by that is obviously going into this, you don't need to be the master of all three aspects, right? Everything comes with time. But that's like the ideal sort of things to balance, to keep in mind at all times. So, however, you want to see the potential to provide content that is 20% better in at least two of these three areas at some point in your YouTube career, like I've already kind of mentioned. So, some niches are already saturated with extremely high quality creators. These channels have evolved beyond mere creators and are better described as media companies, right? So this is what you should look out for, because the chance of competing with them is slim to none. Just don't compete with them. So you want to assess where your competitors from the list you made in the previous step fall within the triangle, right? So find a channel that is doing well, but let's say again, like I just mentioned, they provide too much editing, too much joy, but value is not there, and vice versa. So once you have really evaluated those channels, once you understand the market of the niche, then you can determine if you can indeed offer 20% better quality on one of the sides. This will help you figure out if there is a good chance for you to succeed in the specific niche, right? So I noticed that there were a lot of creators who were actually quite knowledgeable about AI, talking about my own channel, but their videos consisted mainly of boring narration with some screen recordings, right? So, like I just mentioned about crypto, saying what I'm preaching. So, they excelled in the value part of the triangle, but lacked in the other two aspects. There were also a few other channels that had excellent editing and provided decent value. However, I had not found anyone who combined value with joy. So, in my case, I knew for a fact that I could provide at least the same amount of value information because, or probably even more, because I had watched essentially all of the AI tutorials at the time that there was a year ago that covered at least the basics. I had gained a deep understanding of many tools because I thoroughly tested them. While I had some video editing experience, I was not a great editor, as you've probably seen in my oldest videos, and I still kind of edit on the very medium level. However, I found myself funny. What a surprise! And I had been told that I was a decent storyteller by my friends, both the decent storyteller and the funny part. So I was confident that I could make the tutorials 20% more enjoyable to watch than my competitors by creating a well-structured script with funny elements. So in the end, I actually decided that two of the four style videos I written down in the second step, what is performing within your niche, right, suited my expertise and goals best. The AI tool tutorials and making money with AI. So my goal was to combine these two, and that's why I ended up with in the tutorials on how to make money online with AI niche. That's why most of the time you see my videos start with the hook around making money, and then the video will become more of a tutorial style video. So, with all of that being said, take your time. It took me trial and error and like solid, 2 months to completely figure out where I'm going with this channel, right? Because again, if we just scroll all the way down, I would make this one and then I would make a random 1 minute tutorial on how to create talking avatars. And then I would kind of move on to, start including the money aspect into this. So, this was started literally 8 months ago. And then I guess roughly 2 months later, the channel will be on the trajectory that it is on now. So, and before that, it took me 6 years of entrepreneurial stuff. So, it's not going to happen overnight to you. So, really take your time. It is extremely important that you conduct your research thoroughly. If you cannot find a niche with enough growth potential in terms of views and the opportunity for you to compete with other creators, I would not recommend starting to make videos. That would be a waste of time. That's also something to keep in mind. Walk a couple of times through these steps. Search for niches. Try to see if there are channels that fit the golden ratio, and if and assess if you can compete by making better content. Finding the right niche is what is going to determine if you're going to succeed or not. And when you find the right niche, your growth will go really fast. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to move on to the CPMs and talk about money a little bit. So, um, yeah, another thing is I didn't really write it down. Is there has to be competition. So you would think naturally that that's how YouTube is a little bit different. So there has to be competition, period, right? So you don't want to just create the niche yourself. You kind of do, but like you rather want to go into a very popular niche and then recreate things rather than creating something completely different and brand new. Chances are it just might not work out and you'll waste time. So competition is good. It means there is already an existing audience, which you just have to figure out how to reach. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, let's move on to the next one.